Welcome back, beautiful beloved souls. How's your weekend going? My name is Gem Stone. I'm a psychic medium and I am an author. On this channel, you will find I look at anything and everything through a lens. It's mainly a commentary channel. All right. Now, as a psychic medium, I can both remote view and I can channel. And if you would like to learn how to do these, I'm offering PDFs for sale. So stay with me to the end of the video and I'll hold up a piece of information. It looks like this. And yeah. All right. Let's get into the commentary. A medium's perspective. Are solar flares thinning the veil in 2026? Introduction. Have you been feeling different lately? Perhaps your dreams have become unusually vivid. Perhaps you've experienced strange coincidences. Perhaps you've felt emotional waves that seem to come from nowhere. Or maybe you've noticed an increase in intuition, synchronicities, or heightened awareness of the people around you. Many people are reporting similar experiences. As a medium, I've received countless messages this year from individuals who believe something unusual is happening. Some describe sensing deceased loved ones more strongly than ever. Others report powerful dreams involving ancestors. Some say they feel as though reality itself has become thinner, more transparent, almost as though another layer of existence is pressing against our own. At the same time, our sun has entered one of the most active periods in its cycles. Solar storms, geomagnetic disturbances, powerful solar flares. Scientists are studying their effects on technology, communications, satellites, and Earth's magnetic field. But a fascinating question remains. Could solar activity also influence human consciousness? Could there be a relationship between geomagnetic activity and altered states of perception? In this video, we're exploring that possibility from the perspective of a medium. As I said, I'm a psychic medium, and we're doing this not as proven fact, not as dogma, but as an intriguing question worth examining. The sun, Earth's cosmic heartbeat. Most people rarely think about the sun. It's simply there, reliable, constant, a giant golden furnace hanging in the sky. But in reality, the sun is a dynamic and violent system. Every second, it releases staggering amounts of energy. Solar flares erupt. Magnetic fields twist and snap. Charged particles race across space. When these energetic waves reach Earth, they interact with our planet's magnetic field and upper atmosphere. Scientists call these geomagnetic storms. They can create beautiful auroras. They can interfere with satellites. They can affect radio communications. They can even influence electrical systems. The question some researchers and spiritual practitioners ask is whether human beings might also respond to these energetic fluctuations. After all, we are electrical creatures. Our brains operate through electrical impulses. Our nervous system functions through electrochemical communication. Our hearts generate measurable electromagnetic fields. Could changes in Earth's magnetic environment subtly influence us? The answer is still being explored, but it's an intriguing possibility. The ancient connection. Long before satellites existed, ancient cultures paid close attention to the heavens. Solar events were often regarded as sacred messages. Periods of intense solar activity were associated with transformations, awakening, revelation, and profound change. Ancient peoples may not have understood plasma physics. They didn't have observatories tracking solar emissions, yet they recognized that human beings seemed connected to cosmic cycles. Perhaps they noticed changes in behavior. Perhaps they observed emotional shifts. Perhaps they experienced altered states during unusual celestial events. Whatever the explanation, humanity has long suspected that the sky influences the soul. What does thinning the veil really mean? The phrase thinning the veil appears in many spiritual traditions. Typically, it refers to a weakening of the boundary between ordinary awareness and deeper layers of consciousness. Some interpret it as easier communication with spirits. Others see it as heightened intuition. Some view it as increased access to subconscious material. Personally, I believe the veil may not be a wall at all. It may be more like a filter that normally helps us focus on physical reality. Most of the time, we're occupied with work, bills, responsibilities, and daily life. Our attention remains anchored to the physical world. But occasionally, that filter shifts. Dreams become vivid. Insights arrive unexpectedly. Memories surface. Creative inspiration flows. People begin paying attention to experiences they would normally dismiss. Perhaps the veil isn't disappearing. Perhaps we're simply noticing more. The reported symptoms. One reason this topic generates so much interest is because many people report remarkably similar experiences during periods of strong solar activity. Some describe ringing in the ears. Others experience unusual dreams. Many report emotional intensity. Some feel exhausted. Others feel energized. Many noticed increased intuition. Of course, these experiences can have numerous explanations. Stress, sleep disruption, health conditions, psychological factors, environmental influences. It's important not to automatically attribute every sensation to solar flares. Yet, it is interesting that similar reports emerge repeatedly during periods of geomagnetic activity. Whether the connection is physical, psychological, spiritual, or a combination of all three remains an open question. The medium's perspective. From my own perspective as a medium, periods of heightened solar activity often coincide with increased intuitive impressions. Readings may feel stronger. Symbols may arrive more rapidly. Dream communication appears more vivid. Does this prove solar flares are responsible? No. Correlation is not causation, so correlation is not causation. But the pattern is interesting enough that many intuitive practitioners continue to observe it. Imagine consciousness as a radio. Normally, we tune into a narrow band of frequencies. But what happens when conditions change? What happens when the atmosphere becomes more electrically active? What happens when the background signal shifts? Perhaps we become more receptive. Perhaps we're noticing information that was always present. Or perhaps we're simply paying closer attention. Ancestral echoes. One phenomenon many people describe during periods of spiritual growth involves ancestral memories. Suddenly, someone becomes fascinated by family history. Old photographs resurface. Forgotten stories emerge. Dreams featuring grandparents or relatives long deceased. Some interpret this as ancestral contract. Others see this as subconscious processing. Personally, I think both possibilities deserve consideration. Human beings carry the emotional legacy of generations, whether through genetics, family stories, learned behaviors, or something more mysterious. The past lives within us. Periods of heightened awareness may bring those hidden influences into view, like old photographs floating to the surface of a lake. The shadow work nobody talks about. Many spiritual discussions focus on light, awakening, ascension, higher vibrations. But genuine growth often involves confronting uncomfortable material, old fears, unresolved grief, buried memories, long-standing patterns. If heightened awareness is occurring, then shadow work becomes essential, because greater sensitivity doesn't just reveal pleasant things, it reveals everything. The painful, the inspiring, the uncomfortable. Growth rarely arrives carrying only flowers. Sometimes it arrives carrying a mirror. Discernment in a noisy world. One of the biggest challenges for spiritual seekers today is discernment. And I've talked about discernment many times. So, how do you distinguish intuition from imagination? How do you separate genuine insight from anxiety? How do you tell the difference between a meaningful impression and a random thought? The answer isn't fear. The answer isn't blind belief. The answer is observation. Keep a journal. Record experiences. Look for patterns. Notice what proves accurate. Notice what doesn't. Treat your experience with curiosity rather than certainty. Curiosity is a remarkably effective spiritual tool. Grounding during high energy periods. Whether solar flares affect consciousness or not, grounding remains important. And I've discussed grounding so many times. Spend time outdoors. Connect with nature. Maintain healthy routines. Get adequate sleep. Stay hydrated. Limit doom scrolling. Balance spiritual exploration with practical living. A tree reaches upwards because its roots reach downward. Human beings are the same. The more expanded our awareness becomes, the more important grounding becomes. A collective awakening or a collective question. Some people believe humanity is entering a period of profound transformation. Others see the current fascination with spirituality as a cultural trend. Perhaps both perspectives contain elements of truth. What interests me most isn't whether everyone agrees, it's the fact that so many people are asking deeper questions. Questions about consciousness. Questions about intuition. Questions about life, death, and meaning. Questions about what it means to be human. Regardless of one's belief, those questions matter. The future. Will the veil continue to thin? Will solar activity reshape human consciousness? Will future science discover connections we don't yet fully understand? Nobody knows. But history shows that humanity repeatedly expands its understanding of reality. Things once considered impossible eventually become accepted. Things once accepted are sometimes overturned. The story is always evolving, and perhaps that uncertainty is part of the adventure. Conclusion. Whether you believe solar flares are influencing consciousness, thinning the veil, or simply creating fascinating conversations, one thing is certain. We are living beneath a star that is anything but ordinary. The sun touches every part of our existence. It powers our world, shapes our environment, and reminds us that we are connected to something vastly larger than ourselves. Maybe the veil is thinning. Maybe our awareness is expanding. Or maybe both are happening simultaneously. Whatever the explanation, approach it with curiosity rather than fear. Pay attention. Stay grounded. Question everything, including me, and remain open to possibilities, because sometimes the most interesting discoveries occur not when we claim certainty, but when we dare to explore the mystery. All right, if you're going to drop a comment, I ask you do so respectfully. If only the world was more tolerant, less judgmental. These are the PDFs I'm offering. I am not pushing this on anyone, just trying to make a few dollars. And again, if you want to do remote viewing for free, there are sites where you can practice. There's my PayPal address if you're interested. There's my email address. If you just want to drop me an email, I'll get back to you within 48 hours. Thanks very much, beautiful beloved souls, for watching. Please be kind to each other. Smile at a stranger. Costs nothing to be nice, and you might just save someone else's life. Most of all, take care of yourselves, because you matter. You are precious. You are special. Thanks again. Love, light, and blessings. Have a good weekend. I'll see you tomorrow, Sunday. Bye for now.